The Riddlewood series. The Teacup That Dreamed. Chapter 1, The Murmuring Cup. Wren Thistlewick was supposed to be dusting. Gramma had handed her a feather duster, pointed at the top shelf of the pantry, and said, "Mind the cobwebs, dear. Some of them might be holding more than dust." Then she'd wandered off to bake a batch of cinnamon scones, leaving Wren alone with a broom that almost sighed as it swept across the floor. The pantry was a patchwork of oddities. Jars of pickled unknowns, a basket of socks that always seemed to be unpaired, and a row of teacups that hadn't been used since the last equinox picnic. Wren climbed a stool carefully, brushing away webs that floated in the air, and reached for the highest shelf. That's when she heard it. A soft sound, like someone whispering in their sleep. Murmuring. Dreaming. She froze, feather duster mid-swish. The sound was coming from a chipped teacup tucked behind a tin of forgotten raisins. It was pale blue, with a faded gold rim and a tiny crack that ran along its side like a smile trying not to be noticed. Wren leaned in. The cup was definitely murmuring. "Cloudberry jam. Don't forget the wings. Hush now, hush." She blinked, and softly said, "Hello." The cup didn't answer, but it gave a tiny sigh. A puff of steam rose from its empty center, curling into a prancing fox before vanishing. Wren's heart did that fluttery thing it always did when quiet magic found her. She reached out gently, cradling the cup in both hands. It was warm, not tea warm, dream warm. She closed her eyes and listened not just with her ears, but with that part of her that could hear forgotten things. The cup was full of dreams, borrowed dreams, lost dreams. Dreams that had once belonged to children who'd visited the whispering thicket and left pieces of themselves behind. Wren opened her eyes. "You're lonely," she whispered, questioningly. The cup trembled slightly, as if agreeing. Gramma's voice floated in from the kitchen. "Wren, dear, the scones are singing again. Bring the honey spoon." Wren tucked the cup into her satchel, wrapping it in a scarf that smelled like library dust. She'd ask Osric about it later, or maybe the thicket would know. But one thing was certain. This cup was dreaming of something it had lost, and Wren was going to help it find it. Chapter 2. Osric and the Whispering Steam. Osric the Owl was not a morning creature. He claimed he was nocturnally optimized. Wren suspected this was just a fancy way of saying he liked sleeping in. So when she tiptoed into the library nook with the murmuring teacup tucked under her arm, she expected grumbling. She got it. "Why?" Osric muttered from his perch atop a stack of dusty dictionaries. "Must you always bring me problems before breakfast?" Wren held up the cup. "It's murmuring." Osric blinked. "So am I. Doesn't mean I'm magical." "It's dreaming," she said softly. That got his attention. He fluttered down, adjusting his round spectacles with one talon, and peered at the cup. It gave a sleepy sigh and released another curl of steam that shaped itself into a tiny carousel horse, spinning once before fading. Osric's feathers ruffled. Wren waited. Osric's hum was never just a sound. It was a preamble to reluctant wisdom. "This," he said, tapping the cup with his beak, "is a dreamcatcher vessel. Very old magic, very delicate. They were used to hold fragments of dreams, usually joyful ones, from children who visited enchanted places. The dreams kept the magic alive, and in return, the place remembered the children." Wren's eyes widened. "So this cup remembers them?" Osric nodded. "Or it did, but something's wrong. The dreams are tangled, fading. It's murmuring because it's trying to hold on." Wren cradled the cup. "Can we help it?" Osric gave a long sigh. "Possibly, but it's risky. You'd need to enter the dream realm the cup is connected to. It's not like regular dreaming. It's stitched together from fragments, emotions, half-remembered places. You could get lost." Wren's freckled face set into a determined expression. "Then I'll bring a thread." Osric blinked. "A what?" "A thread," she said, pulling a spool of shimmering yarn from her satchel. "Gramma gave it to me last solstice. Said it was spun from moonlight and memory. I think it's meant for finding your way back." Osric stared at her. You are entirely too brave for someone with mismatched socks. They match in mood, Wren said cheerfully. The cup gave another sigh, this time forming a tiny cloud that rained glittering droplets onto the library floor. One droplet landed on Wren's hand and shimmered. Osric tilted his head. It's ready. Wren nodded. She sat cross-legged on the rug, placed the cup before her, and tied the moonlight thread around her wrist. Wish me luck, she whispered. Osric muttered, I wish you'd reconsider. But it was too late. The cup pulsed once, and a swirl of dream steam enveloped Wren, lifting her gently off the floor. And just like that, she was gone. Chapter 3. The Dream with Too Many Doors. Wren landed softly, not on the ground exactly, but on something that felt like a quilt made of clouds and old marshmallows. The air smelled like warm milk and starlight, and everything shimmered slightly, as if the world had just remembered it was magical. She sat up slowly. The moonlight thread was still tied to her wrist, glowing faintly. The teacup floated beside her, spinning lazily in the air like it was trying to remember how gravity worked. Hello, Wren called. Her voice echoed, but not in the usual way. It echoed in colors, soft pinks and sleepy blues rippling through the sky like watercolor sighs. The dream realm was strange. All around her were doors, hundreds of them. Some were tiny, no taller than a teacup. Others were grand and towering, made of candy canes or tree bark or folded paper. One door was made entirely of feathers. Another had a doorknob shaped like a knowing moon. Each door pulsed gently, as if waiting. The teacup bobbed toward a small wooden door with a brass keyhole and a sticker that read, Property of Pip, age 6 3/4. It hovered, then gave a hopeful whistle. Wren approached. Is this one of your dreams? The cup spun once in agreement. Wren reached for the knob, but the door shivered and vanished. She blinked. Oh! The cup drooped slightly, releasing a puff of steam shaped like a deflated balloon. Wren sat cross-legged again, thinking, maybe the dream is scared, or forgotten, or tangled. She closed her eyes and listened. Not with her ears, but with her gift. She heard laughter, then crying, then silence. She opened her eyes. We need to find the dream that's hiding, the one that's tangled. The cup whistled again, this time more urgently, and floated toward a door made of patchwork fabric. It was stitched with stars and smelled faintly of ginger and bedtime stories. Wren touched the knob. This time, the door opened. Inside was a room that looked like a child's imagination had spilled everywhere. Floating blocks, upside-down teddy bears, a rocking horse that rocked sideways. But everything was dim, like the joy had been packed away in boxes and forgotten. A small figure sat in the corner. A boy, maybe 6 years old, with a crown made of crayons and a cape made of blankets. He was drawing on the floor with invisible chalk. Wren stepped gently inside. Hello. The boy didn't look up. I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. I'm Wren, she said, and I'm here to listen. The boy paused. Nobody listens in dreams. They just fly or fall or forget. Wren sat beside him. I don't forget. I remember things that were misplaced on purpose. The boy looked at her. His eyes were full of hope. I lost my dream, he whispered. It was about flying on a spoon. But then I got scared, and it went away. Wren nodded. Would you like help finding it? He hesitated, then nodded. The teacup floated in, glowing softly. The boy reached out and touched it. A swirl of steam rose, forming a spoon with. Chapter 4. The Dream That Refused to Speak. The next door was locked. It was tall and narrow, made of shadowy wood with carvings that shifted when Wren looked away. The doorknob was missing, and in its place was a single word etched in silver. Shoo. The teacup hovered beside her, uncertain. It released a puff of steam that curled into a question mark. Wren frowned. This dream doesn't want to be found. Osric's voice echoed faintly in her memory. Some dreams hide because they were interrupted. Others hide because they were hurt. She knelt and placed her hand on the door. It was cold. Not scary cold, lonely cold. I'm not here to open you, she whispered. I'm here to listen. The carvings shifted again. This time, they formed a picture. A child sitting alone in a classroom, surrounded by laughter that didn't include them. Wren's heart ached. She sat down, moonlight thread glowing softly, and closed her eyes. She didn't knock. She didn't push. She simply waited. Minutes passed. Or maybe hours. Time in dreams was like pudding, soft and wobbly and not to be trusted. Finally, the door creaked open just a crack. Inside was a dream made of silence. Muted colors. Playground with no voices. A birthday cake with no candles. A stuffed bear with button eyes that blinked slowly, as if waking from a long nap. Wren stepped inside gently. The silence pressed around her like fog. In the center of the dream sat a girl with braids and a paper tiara. She was sitting cross-legged with a blank book in her lap. Wren sat beside her. "Hi." The girl didn't respond. Wren didn't speak again. She simply took out her own paper, a gift from Gramma for emergencies of the heart, and began to draw. A spoon with wings, a teacup with steam, a forest with riddles in its roots. The girl glanced sideways. Then slowly, she reached out and added a star. The silence cracked. A soft hum filled the air. The stuffed bear blinked again and smiled. The playground brightened. The cake lit itself. The girl whispered, "I didn't think anyone would wait." Wren smiled. "I always wait for quiet magic." The teacup floated in, glowing brighter than before. It released a swirl of steam that formed a melody, soft, gentle, like a lullaby remembered. The girl touched the cup. "I think I'm ready to dream again." Wren nodded. "You never stopped. You just needed someone to listen." The moonlight thread tugged again. Another dream restored. Wren turned to the teacup. "One more, I think." The cup whistled softly, like a promise. Chapter 5. The Cup That Remembered. The last door wasn't a door at all. It was a ripple in the air, like a curtain made of sighs. The teacup hovered beside it, trembling slightly, its glow flickering like candlelight in wind. Wren reached out. The ripple parted. Inside was a memory, not a dream, not a story, a moment. Gramma Thistlewick's cottage years ago. Wren was younger, maybe 5. She sat at the kitchen table, legs swinging, watching Gramma pour tea into a pale blue cup with a gold rim. The same cup. Gramma had whispered, "This one's special. It remembers kindness." Wren had giggled and dropped a sugar cube into the tea. The cube had fizzed, releasing a puff of steam shaped like a butterfly. The memory shimmered, then faded. Wren blinked. "That was mine." The teacup pulsed gently. Osric's voice echoed in her thoughts. "Some dreams aren't lost. They're waiting to be remembered." Wren sat cross-legged in the dream realm's quiet center. The teacup floated before her, glowing softly. Around them, the restored dreams shimmered. Flying spoons, silent playgrounds, stars drawn in chalk. She placed her hands around the cup. "You're not broken," she whispered. "You're full. Full of stories. Full of kindness." The cup pulsed once, then twice. Then it sang. Not loudly, not with notes, but with warmth. A hum that filled the dream realm with golden light. The doors faded, replaced by stars. The air smelled like cinnamon and hope. The cup glowed brighter, then gently floated back into Wren's satchel. The moonlight thread tugged one last time. Wren opened her eyes. She was back in the library. Osric was snoring on a pile of thesauruses. Gramma was humming in the kitchen, and the cinnamon scones were getting themselves ready for cream. Wren reached into her satchel and pulled out the teacup. It was warm, whole, quiet, but when she held it close, she heard a soft whisper. "Thank you." She smiled. Later that evening, she placed the cup on the windowsill, where moonlight could reach it. It shimmered faintly, steam rising in the shape of a sleeping fox. Gramma came in, wiping flour from her hands. "You've been busy." Wren nodded. The cup was dreaming. I helped it remember. Gramma kissed her forehead. "That's what you do best." Outside, The whispering thicket rustled gently, as if listening, and in the distance, a toy soldier marched across the schoolyard, followed by a trail of talking marbles. Wren's next adventure was already whispering. She was ready to listen. If you've enjoyed this installment of the Riddlewood series, please like and subscribe for more.